Good afternoon and welcome to all the startups and members of Delhi NCR Cluster Incubator Network gathered here today for the Tech Up Empowering Startup Series 3. This event is organized under the SIDBI Cluster Intervention Program in collaboration with TIE Delhi NCR and ISPA. We extend a warm welcome to everyone joining us for the third session of the series. Joining me on the moderation panel is Mr. Shyam Sundar, DGM of AIC BIMTech. Welcome, Shyam.
Thank you, Abhishek, for introducing me. Thank you.
So about these sessions are aimed to create a platform where successful founders share their perspectives on the challenges faced by emerging startups. The initiative is presented to you under the Cluster Intervention Program of SIDBI, which is the apex financial institution for MSMEs in India. The program aims to develop multiple MSME clusters across India, and the Delhi NCR Innovation Cluster is one amongst these. The cluster aims to forge active collaborations among all the innovation stakeholders in Delhi NCR, a network of 42 plus incubators and 800 plus startups has been created under the program. Multiple other stakeholders, investors, mentors, etc. have also been onboarded on the platform called Let's Startup. I will now invite Mr. Ankit from Delhi NCR Innovation Cluster to announce a special program for agri-tech startups under the SIDBI Cluster Intervention Program. Welcome, Ankit.
Thank you, Abhishek, and welcome all. I'm here to announce a very special program, as Abhishek said. The program is Indo-Israel Co-Incubation and Acceleration Program for Agri-Tech Startups. We are having this program with Embassy of Israel in India. And in this program, we'll be selecting 10 startups for a duration of 6 weeks. We'll be providing acceleration support to them through 6 different incubators of Delhi NCR region. For the first time, these incubators have joined hands together to provide a co-incubated offering to the startups based on their areas of expertise. We'll be launching this very soon. Please stay tuned to letstartup.net for further updates. Thank you so much. Back to you, Abhishek.
Okay, now I'm requesting all the startups, all the participants, in case you want to ask any question, use your questions to the speaker using the Q&A option available on the webinar. We will try to take as many questions as possible. And now, without any further delay, let's begin today's session. Ladies and gentlemen, today we have the honor of hosting someone special who has made a big impact in the agri-tech startup world with their innovative ideas and hard work. Our mentor for today is none other than Mr. Shyam Sundar Singh, who is the co-founder of the agri-tech unicorn Dehaat. Shyam is the executive director and co-founder of Dehaat, which was recognized as one of the top 50 global agri-tech brands by Thrive in 2023. Established in 2012, Dehaat focuses on creating an impact on millions of smallholder farmers in India by providing 360-degree agri-value chain solutions throughout the crop life cycle. Since its inception, Dehaat has established a robust network of over 300 agri-input suppliers and more than 1,200 agri-output buyers to serve over 2 million farmers across India. As a co-founder, Shyam is instrumental in the development and implementation of company strategies operating on the farmer's first principle, which enables the organization to work towards improving agricultural practices and increasing income from produce for farmers simultaneously. Shyam spearheads the entire pre-harvest function, aiming to build a full-stack agri-platform for Indian farmers through data and network-led initiatives. He ensures robust systems and processes are in place to establish a strong foundation for the organization. He holds an MBA from IIM Ahmedabad and a BTech from IIT Kharagpur. So let's give a warm welcome to Shyam, a true icon in the world of agri-tech entrepreneurship. Welcome, Shyam.
Thank you, Abhishek. Thanks for your kind introduction. Thank you.
So Shyam, let's start by hearing about your impressive journey as an entrepreneur, marked by its unique blend of success and challenges. We are curious to know about the highs and lows you have faced along the way, as well as the key moments and experiences you have had while building Dehaat.
Sure. So, hi everyone. It's an immense pleasure to be here. I'm sure that many of you will actually go on to build significant companies of your own, right? In the next 5-10 minutes, what I will do, I will first introduce Dehaat, so that there will be a context of what I'm speaking, right? What problem statement we are trying to solve, how are we solving those problem statements? What are the various pillars of our model, and where are we operating? And then I will also talk about how this journey had been built up, right? So, agri is something which many of us relate to, right? It's a sector where more than 110 million households are connected, right? They are dependent on agri in one way or the other. With many of them, for many of them, agri being the prime, source of income and livelihood, right? It's also a big sector, right? In Indian context, $350 billion USD, billion dollar worth of sector this is, right? Overall, including everything. So it's a big opportunity, right? So number of people, so there is an impact side where if anything that's done in agri, you are impacting millions of households. It's a big market. And the third thing about this sector is that in the last maybe a decade or so, digitization in the rural sector has improved significantly. And that digitization is further, basically encouraging people like us to be in this sector, to innovate and build solutions, right? So what is Dehaat? Dehaat is essentially a physical and digital model, a marketplace, a one-stop solution for all kinds of agricultural requirements, needs for Indian farmers, right? What do? We provide generally like in the entire value chain. So from the pre-harvest part, right? Where we provide agricultural inputs to farmers, the entire bucket of it, right? Seeds, fertilizers, crop care, cattle feed related or cattle nutrition, tools and machinery. We also provide them with latest technology-based solution, ground level training, demonstrations, advisories, so that they can adopt best agricultural practices, along with the provisioning of agri input. And then we also provide other value chain services that they need during their cultivation cycle, such as credit, insurance, mechanization, spraying, things related to soil testing. And last but not the least, which definitely is the one of the most important part of it, we also provide them access to market, where we aggregate farmers' produce and then supply to institutional buyers, either directly or after further processing. So that's where we are. This whole model is built around rural micro entrepreneurship, where we have a channel partner who is responsible for last mile delivery of products and services. We have a network of 15,000 such channel partners. Through these 15,000 channel partners across 11 states, 180 districts in India, we are directly or indirectly connected with more than 2.1 million farmers. So understand that in Dehaat has like these three key components. One, it's a full stack agri-business space, right? Second, it is built around a channel of local micro entrepreneurs. And third is there is a strong connect with a lot of agri institutions which are there in the country. So we have more than 300 plus agri input suppliers with whom directly get material. We have more than 1,200 agri input buyers whom we sell. We have connects with banks, financial institutions, everyone. So this is where we are right now, right? But how we have reached to this level is something which I think is the most important for all of you, right? We started our journey in 2012. And when we started our journey, the co-founding team had this notion that let's build something around agri where farmers will have a direct impact. And at that time, there was not much of an idea that how this can be done. But farmers' impact was the core focus. We quickly figured out that, if you go to an Indian farmer and if you tell them that, okay, you should use these kind of practices, you should use these kind of agri inputs, the farmers will always ask, okay, if I'll do that, are you going to sell my material, right? So we started with access to market, where with our relationship, with our background, we onboarded a few companies. And then we started aggregating from farmers. Once farmers saw that, okay, these guys have the potential to sell their material, give them the best rates, give them the best terms and conditions, then they also started following all of our other suggestions, right? So that's why we started this full stack. And also the realization that considering the small landholding of farmers, the time and energy and resources that they have to invest in accessing all all of their needs, whether it is input markets, output market, advisories, financial services, that's not something which is sustainable for them. And hence we have started providing them this one-stop solution, right? So like all journeys, right, this journey had also its significant ups and downs. I think we took more than 3-4 years in understanding what kind of business model it will be, which will be sustainable at the ground, right? Economically sustainable, as well as sustainable in the view that it is adding value to everyone that we are working with. It is adding value to your farmer, it is adding value to our channel partner, it is adding value to our institutions that we are working with. So it took that much amount of time. Anyway, in agri, if you are doing something this year, suppose if you are working with paddy farmers this year, whatever will be our learning, the only time that we will be able to correct from those learnings, right? Correct our mistakes from those learnings would be next year only. So agri-tech, to all of you, right, or agri in general, right, is the biggest component of success in this sector is to have patience, have continuous learning curve, and have lots of patience, right? So we have taken like 12 years where we are right now, and still we think that there is like maybe a decade or 2 decades more to go to actually build something very big in it, right? It's such a huge sector, and it has the potential to create such a large impact on the. But overall, we took first 4-5 years in building the model. Once we have our unit level economics established, that okay, and for us a unit level economics was a district. So if in a particular district we are working with say 25,000 farmers, we have 125 channel partners there, we have consistent touch points with farmers, right, where we generate revenue, where farmers get impacted, right? That for us meant that okay, this is our unit economics which has been achieved. So once we had this confidence that okay, we have achieved that unit economics in multiple districts, that time we started growing. And fortunately for us, that time agri-tech in general has also started getting traction from investors, from government, from everyone. And we were lucky to be in that phase where we got a lot of support from everyone, and we quickly grow. So that the growth phase had been for the last 5 years had been a significant growth where we have on most of the parameters, we have achieved a growth of 3x, 4x consistently. Currently, we are also adding a lot of value to every activity that we do. So for example, in agri input, we have started introducing a lot of new age products to farmers, new age biologicals to farmers, which are requirement from a point of view of soil health, climate change, farmers' income increase. So we have started introducing a lot of new age biologicals to farmers in partnership with a lot of global companies. It's a good value addition there. On the agri output side, we have started working in the export markets, where now we are working with a lot of global players who are talking about their customized requirements, and we have the scope to work with those set of farmers who can cater to global demand, right? So that's a good value addition there. Then insurance, crop insurance, crop lending, all of those value added products that now we have started, those which had come with scale, which had come with technology, which had come with network, right? So that's where we are. Thanks, Abhishek.
So thank you, Abhishek, for asking the question, and thank you, Shyam, to give a very detailed. So how we have structured this entire rest of the session is that I'll ask one question from my side, and then we follow by a lot of questions from the startup founders who have asked, and we'll go forward one by one. But before I go to those questions, I would like to understand, since you talk about pre and post Harvard, it's such a complex equation to crack, and it takes years of practice and years of business model optimization that happens. How you sure that these understanding socioeconomic background of India, and it's so much fragment landscape, how to make sure that this your services go across different region of the country. So if I can get that, and plus if I can understand about the supply chain model, that how you build up that equation to make it right for you. So that's for you. Yeah. Over to you, Shyam.
No, great first question, Sanyam. Okay. This is something that which is always there when we talk about Indian farmers, right? So you're right. Farmers in India have a very wide demographic profile, right? We say that, okay, at any point of time, there are 6 generations of farmers who coexist in India, right? You will find large farmers, you will find progressive farmers, you will also find subsistence farmers, right? You will also find farmers who are struggling to make their ends meet or who want to leave agriculture, right? So there will always be there is always this wide segmentation of farmers, right? As Dehaat, we don't differentiate among farmers, right? When I'm saying that, okay, in a district, if I'm working with 25,000 farmers, this is irrespective of their landholding profile, their crops, everything, right? And how it had become possible. That's also a journey in itself, right? That essentially, we have to build communication channels with farmers and ensuring that different kind of farmers, right, will have different communication preference, different way of connecting with Dehaat, right? So like for every district, we have this network of 100 channel partners, and then we have our field team in every district. They ensure that there is a continuous physical touch point with farmers, right? In form of meetings, in form of field level demonstrations, in form of various other field level activities. In addition to that, there is a 24/7 call center where farmers can call for any of their queries. There is an IVR call that farmers receive. There is a message that farmers receive. There is a WhatsApp channel that farmers have, social media channels that farmers have, and there is an app that farmers get onto and get similar experience across all of these. So that's where we started, right? We started with a lot of dependency on physical touch points, and gradually we move on to more of a digital touch points. And I believe that with time, this journey will continue, right? There will always be a segment of farmers who will be very tech savvy, and connecting with them will be possible through all the tech channels. And there will be farmers who will need physical touch points as well. And plus, considering that we have a lot of operational engagement with farmers, there are always physical movements, physical activity which are happening. You especially asked about supply chain, right? So essentially, if you see the core of Dehaat, right, we are building a very robust rural supply chain, right? Currently, across these 180 districts, we have reached to almost 1.25 lakhs villages in India, which is roughly around 15-20% of total villages in India, right? So that kind of last mile connectivity we have. We are also building now our capability to reach directly to farmers, right? Earlier we have the capability to reach in the vicinity to our channel partners, right? So that's a supply chain capability that we have built especially for agri, but can be an asset for rural supply chain in general.
Great to hear. I think 1.2 lakh is a huge number, considering our country. So, Sham, so I have a question. So it's a strategic question from MFly. It's a startup name MFly by Basunda Srivastava. So, what strategies, or it may happen that that you might have also already answered the question. What strategies or tactics are most effective in expanding your reach within the B2B market segments? So I think that is another segment that we can actually talk about.
Yeah, I think so. B2B is definitely important, right? Dehaat is a B2B2C company, right? So when we work
Yeah.
with farmers, we work through our channel partners. Similarly, we don't generally sell produce directly to a consumer. We sell produce to basically a processor or an exporter or the retailer who then sell to farmers or consumers on the food side. So a couple of things which are very, very important, right? Definitely one thing is that as an agri-tech player, essentially we are competing with not any other agri-tech player, not anyone else, but we are competing with the traditional channel, right? To the players, to our channel partners to whom we are supplying agri inputs, they can also get those agri inputs from any traditional distributor. Or if we are supplying, say, produce to any processor like say Adani or ITC or someone, right? They also have the option to get the same produce from an aggregator or from a trader or from a dealer. So essentially, we are and have been competing with traditional channels, right? And there, the point of differentiation that we could bring, first and foremost, was transparency and visibility in the supply chain, as well as an ability of ours to customize as per their requirement. For example, if a corn buyer wants a specific moisture level of corn, right? Our nature of work of being connected with farmers end to end allows us to deliver that on that promise. So this, our ability to provide them with transparency, with visibility and customization differentiated us in the B2B space. The other aspect of that is that once you have a working relationship with a buyer, we try to ensure that we go beyond the obvious. Like, for example, if you are working with an output buyer, we don't limit ourselves to just being a supplier to them, right? We also try to provide logistics solutions to them, quality solution to them, quality assaying solution to them, financing support to them, right? Liquidation support to them. So we build an ecosystem around that buyer, where our touch point with that buyer again, right, will be multifold. If we are working with our channel partners, we do the same. We try to provide the entire basket of products and services to them, so that they will have an additional sources of income and engagement with Dehaat.
I think this is the best example of forward and backward integration of entire value chain that I can do. Abhishek, over to you. So Abhishek, yeah.
Perfect. We have another question from Ram Krishna Gildial from Anki Energy Efficiency Private Limited. So the question is how to assess market potential and adhere to the quality standards for new agri-based products such as those derived from millets.
Yeah, no. I mean, we often hear that, in India, 35% of agri input products are spurious and bad quality. So it has been a big problem statement, right? And when we introduce any of our product, definitely there are standard quality checks around that, right? That any product has to meet certain quality standards, which is in form of the process that has been followed for development of those products, the kind of certificates that there is a lot testing have been done or not. All of those processes are there. But what differentiates agri from other sector related to quality is that in agri, among farmers, seeing is believing. Okay, so we don't introduce product at a mass scale to begin with, right? Irrespective of all the testing and everything that gets followed, in the first season we ensured that there are farmer level demonstrations that should happen. Farmers should not just see the quality of the product, but also its efficacy, also the yield improvement or the cost reduction. So there are field days which happen around those demonstrations. More and more farmers, when they see, they start believing those products, they start using those products in their farms, right? So there is a lot of focus that or emphasis that we put on ensuring that every product that we introduce to the market, every new product, every new molecule that we improve, or the variety of seed that we introduce to the market, we try to ensure that maximum number of farmers can see the demonstration of those products.
We have another question by Nidhi from My Plan A. While building a new product category, how do you deduce the right marketing channel? So they are asking about the marketing.
Yeah, I mean, somewhere from the previous question only, right? So marketing in agri is something also which is evolving very rapidly, right? And it is always a mix of multiple channels. But then there is no single formula. It depends on nature of the product, right? So there are two kinds of marketing things here, right? One is essentially a product-based marketing. So if we are introducing a certain product, there we see that, okay, if that product is there or relevant for a farmer for a very short period of time, like seeds are only relevant for say 15 to 30 days in a year. or products like crop nutrition, which are relevant for a few months. And then marketing strategies vary. And if you have to invest something around a brand marketing itself, then the strategy vary. But it's always a mix of ATLs and BTLs and a lot of digital marketing. Plus, so all of these are very standard, where you put emphasis on ads and banners and posters and in-store promotions and OH, like on the road, right? So we do all of those things. Again, what differentiates in Agri is that a lot of our marketing spend is also going towards awareness of those products with farmers, right? So we do a lot of farmer level meetings, and essentially that becomes our primary channel of marketing, where we go to the farmer one-on-one, nukkeds, some we call multiple things, chopa, panchayats, or large farmer meetings, field days, mega days. We do a lot of those things, essentially to create multiple forums where we can directly engage farmers and speak to them, understand their requirements. But more importantly, why do we do that? Because a lot of these things are very technical in nature, right? If you go through a farmer's day, you will see that, it's a very technical job, right? They have to take a lot of decisions, which are essentially science-based decisions, right? When to grow, how to grow, which products to use, if something happens on the ground, what to do. Like, all of these are pure science, right? And hence, a lot of our in-person meetings are essential, and that those meetings are done by agri scientists, those who are onboarded on Dehaat, right? So our people, they go there, they are technical experts, they go and talk about technicalities of those products to farmers in very simple terms. And that becomes our primary channel of marketing in a way.
Great. So I have a question. Thank you, Shyam, for sharing the right marketing strategy. There's another question on technology, because when you're scaling, nothing is possible without technology. So I have a question from and agriculture industry is very fragmented, as you already have shared. How can agri-tech startups scale their technology and achieve widespread adoption? So if you can share some insights, how you have implemented the technology and how it is the backbone of your entire organization and going forward. Yeah, over to you, Shyam.
Yeah, tech is very important and very costly also, just to put that right. For us, fortunately, that journey had started as a bottom-up journey, right? So where we started building tech solutions as we felt the need for that, right? We didn't make an attempt to over-engineer or over-invest, right? And hence the kind of solutions that we have built over the years are based on the acute requirements that we have faced and the kind of solutioning which could have been done. And hence, the time taken from building that tech solution and ensuring that there is a widespread adoption of those products, right, and tools, that had been very short in our case. For example, so when we started building tech by ourselves somewhere in 16, 17, we realized that, okay, what is the first thing that we have to build? Whether the decision making was around that, shall we build a solution around farmer? Shall we build a solution around our channel partner, or shall we build a solution around our internal movements of goods and goods, basically, right? Or shall we build a solution around our buyers, institutional players? And we realize that, okay, the most important of that, or the most pivotal of that, is by digitizing our channel partners. If we digitize our channel partners, it takes care of our engagement with them. It also ensures that farmers have direct access to our channel partner who is already digitized, right? And in a way, even if digitization journey to farmer will take time, but the benefits that the farmer is getting, that is reaching to them. And hence, that was the acute realization. And hence, the first investment that we made was around digitizing that part of the journey. Then we started focusing on farmers' engagement, not too much on app itself, but also around calling. another solutions, right? Plus, a lot of our tech investment had gone towards the towards ensuring that many macro data which are there, or internal data that we are there, that is there, how can we use that, all those information, and ensure that anything that we are offering, right, are essentially personalized, right? So if there is a farmer who has done soil testing and then report is showing a deficiency of a certain micronutrient, can we ensure that the farmer is getting advisory of that particular micronutrient, and access of that micronutrient is available to the Dehaat center which is in the vicinity of those farmers? So it's that kind of investment in technology that we had done on the back end rather than on the front end, right? We had digitized the entire pest database. So for all of the crops that we are working, we ensure that there is a robust pest database that we have, so that the advisory which are going to farmers are properly categorized and analyzed, and it's very micromanaged from that level. So for us, technology had been a great enabler so far, I would say, a great enabler of how we conduct our business, how we engage farmers, and as well as how we are being efficient in building technology, right? Yeah.
Right. So, I have another question, on technology infra only, but I think you already have answered a part of it. That, for audience out here, and when you start building CRM and when you start building, any of the technology stack, build one by one on need basis. So that question that asked you, how to, build our tech to manage our fulfillment, inventory, sales from telecalling and etc. And how to integrate everything into the one platform. So that's if, you can answer on this as well. What
Yeah. So
a single stack for everything.
yes, I think this is a very important question, especially those who are in the movement of goods and product, right?
Yeah.
So a few things one should not try to build, right? Like an ERP system. Building a robust ERP system which is complied with Indian financial standards, that is something which will take years to build, right? And it's better to use existing ERP systems. There are so many of them. We have started using Odoo very early. There is a lot of players have very good ERP systems, right? So it's better to use them rather than building that part itself, right? Because a lot of accounting practices and everything which needs to be built around that, right? We started migrating to SAP at a very early phase of our organization. Even before hitting like 1,000 crore of revenue, we started investing in SAP. Why? Because it's proven, it's scalable. You will always get advisors and developers related to SAP freely, easily in the market, right? So we started investing in them. That part was something which was something that we thought that okay, let's use the existing solution, right? Which parts one should build themselves is essentially engagement with stakeholders, right? So it's very difficult to outsource. Say if someone is working around farmers, it's very difficult to outsource that particular tech to someone else, right? Because an outsourced player will be very difficult for them to gain the understanding of the kind of relationship that we want to build with that important stakeholder. So I always believe that those sort of requirements one should always build by themselves. And things like analytics solution, things like ERP, which are already there, completely developed in the market, one should always go out and seek the best possible solution.
So I guess we have a similar question. So you have already answered it. So that question was from Dhairya Gupta from Arthrite. It was like, should we use existing open source tools or software for sales and processes, or should we, build your own technology? So I think you have already answered it. So let's move to another question from Haribu Rajguru from Consolu. And his question is related to technology plus kind of a strategy. How can we leverage technology to optimize the distribution efficiency while ensuring product quality and customer satisfaction, which is very important?
Yeah, I think these are good KPIs for technology to improve, right? but understand that in itself, technology is not going to improve that, right? Technology is going to enable that. So, for example, customer satisfaction, right? And let's say that, farmers are the customers, right? So, technology will give you the most efficient way to ensure that, there is a communication channel which is robust, right? Where farmers can easily reach out and where you can actually monitor the progress and everything. At the end of the day, though, having customer focus, having this mindset that, customer satisfaction is the key to build relationship with them and grow, having that as a focus point of the business model where your decision makings are built around that is something which becomes very important, right? Why so? Because in most parts, technology itself will not be the problem. The problem will be any products and service or the service that we have delivered to them, and ensuring that the product and service that we have delivered to them is as per their expectations, is of the right quality, is of the right standard, is something which is important, very important. Technology now, with so much of machine learning or currently Gen AI and everything, it is enabling communication efficient. It is also enabling the way that we are providing solution better, in a better way. For example, there are so many companies, including us, who are using satellite data and machine learning, and basically image recognition, a lot of LLMs. So all of us are using all these sort of information to provide better solution to farmers. For example, in our case, we do a lot of intervention at the farm level, where we use farm level data, we use RST data, we use satellite based data. We ensure that we have a farm profile of previous years in the terms of what kind of cropping had happened, what was the crop status, what kind of diseases which had happened, right? Technology help us in ensuring that when we now provide a solution to farmer, that solution is backed by a lot of data points that we can have with it, right? So that way it is helping us a lot. It is also fast tracking communication channels with farmers. And at the end of the day, it has to remain, it has to be a focus point of the overall delivery model or business model itself.
Right. While we are talking about the technology, how can we skip AI? So we have a next question from Karthik Sulake from Deku Search. And his question is, how will generative AI impact online marketplaces in the future?
The way that it is moving on, right? There is a limitless scope, right? It can be of use at many places. I can tell you though a few things that we are doing, right? So essentially, we have prioritized advisory solutions for Gen AI. For example, right now we are working with a lot of cattle farmers, where based on the data points some of the data points that we receive, and based on the models that we are building, we are ensuring that the cattle health and cattle nutrition is getting properly taken care of by providing advisory at the right time to all those cattle farmers. So in a way, if you look at three different pillars of farmers' requirements, one is, so every farmer needs access to agri inputs, they need access to agri markets, and also they need access to a lot of market information and other information. For example, weather, soil, market related information, rates, everything that they need, disease related information. And these models, right, can actually help us in building very robust ecosystem for those problem statements. So we see a lot of potential, especially in agri, where quality information had always been a challenge, considering that there are limited way in which there is a limited level of digitization which had happened of farmers, of farming in general, of farms in particular. And hence, these sort of models will, my guess is that it might revolutionize the way that we are engaging with farmers related to the kind of information that we disseminate among them.
Great to hear. So, Sham, I think let me, for the audience who just have joined or might have missed, let me iterate. We talked about strategy, we talk about market access, we talk about technology and infra, what needs to be built up because it's important to understand. We just had a conversation about future of AI because that cannot be ignored. Now, the important thing, because everybody talks about investments, funding. So this is something that us, every startup founder, talk about A&I. So I have a question from us, founder by Sarabjit Pal. What strategies and avenue are available for securing funding for agri-tech startup? Very specific agri-tech startup, how, funding can be availed or maybe have for it. Yeah. Over to you, Shyam.
Um, so it had been a great, I would say, 5-7 years for agri-tech companies, right? Considering that now agri-tech is on the radar of all mainstream investors, be it private equity, venture capital. There are a lot of things which are there. Now, definitely, there is a milestone that one needs to achieve in order to become relevant for them and attractive to them. So that is always there. But I think the change which had happened is that even before that stage, right? Say pre-series or even at idea stage or seed stage, there is so much support which are not available, right? There are companies, there are funds which have dedicated focus towards early stage companies. There are so many accelerators which are there. There are so many different programs even run by academic institutions which are there. There are government funded programs for incubation and for acceleration which are there. So there is a wide ecosystem and one should always explore that ecosystem in its entirety. You should not just run behind large or well-known venture capitals or venture capital funds or other funds, right? But one should explore all different kinds of support which are there. Plus there are also, like, the way that we have progressed when we were in the era where there wasn't such kind of ecosystem which are available. And we also explored a lot of projects and grants and other sort of activities which can, on competitions, like a lot of competitions we have participated. All of those had given us three different things, right? It had given us a validation of what we are doing. It had given us a lot of connects, definitely, and also given us fuel to run ourselves for 6 months more, 3 months more, a year more, right? And then we got to a scale where we had become attractive to mainstream investors, right? So if you are looking for funding, keep your options open. Look at debt, look at equity, look at grant, look at project, whatever, look at non-revenue or non-cash support as well, right? Everything helps. And it will provide you with a lot of validation also, right? It will provide you access to a lot of quality mentors and guides also, right? Which is also invaluable in nature.
I think, Sham, that's important for founders out here who going out in events, networking is important, and it will help you to get that kind of a recognition when you are in limelight or in front of a lot of investors. So one thing, as you just said, if any startup founder doesn't get even then VC funding because of there could be so many issues. Can you suggest any alternate financing option other than VC money, if you can share a few, you think that's the best way to go? Or so this question was asked by Prerak, so if we can get answer on that.
No, I think that's what I was saying, that look at debt options. Okay. There are so many
Right
different
options,
debt
yes.
instruments which are there. Look at grants, look at acceleration support, look at incubation support,
Yeah.
right? There is a wide ecosystem which is there. VC funds definitely come after achieving a certain milestone. And I think the change that which had happened is that a lot of mainstream VC funds have different vehicles to support early stage companies, right? So look at them also, right? A lot of them have those, where they are building their pipeline for future investments, right? So look at that level. I think it's better to explore multiple options there and see that what works.
Okay, we have another question from Ritu Jain from Shrishti Consulting. Well, very basic question, but very important. How do you build a team, good team, for your startup from the very beginning, from the scratch?
It's not a basic question actually. It's one of the most important question that is
Important, very
right.
important.
I was recently in a similar sort of discussion with a lot of new age entrepreneurs, right? I had been given a task, choice of what do you want to talk about among say journey or profit or people on. And I told that building team is the most important part there, right? Uh, it's the most important part of the journey. In our case, that had happened across three phases. One was to find the right set of co-founders whom you can work with for years to come. And I think we were fortunate enough that at the same time, five of us had been exploring almost in the similar time had been exploring this option of working in agri. It was a small ecosystem, and our aspirations, our skill sets complemented each other. Aspirations were aligned and skill sets were complementing each other, and we stuck together. So building that's group of co-founders with whom you can work for many years to come, right, is definitely the most important part. The second part was that building those network of early level colleagues whom you can rely on, right, who can join you not for say money or not for anything else, but for the passion of solving their problem statements. And we have many of them who have spent years here now, right, where they have grown uh, from a very early level to now taking care of large portfolios or large responsibilities. And they had been a very important part of the journey. And that's, I would say, the second part. And third part is that then how we can build incentives and cultures and job requirements which can attract professionals in the market who can come and join you and help you scale by complementing with you with the skills, right, that is required for a scaled up organization, right? So it comes in phases, but it is very important, and we all should be very conscious of how we are building our teams.
Thank you, Shyam, for sharing this because that's a leadership thing, and building a right team, right set of people around you is very important. Going forward from here, so there's a question by We Are Green Private Limited, Mr. Vikas Sharma. He talks about when is the right time to tap international markets. So this is something that you just mentioned when you started that now you are looking forward for the exports. If we can get an answer on that, especially when it comes to agri-tech and and what is should be the ideal stage of a startup to get into that.
Not sure, because there is no right or wrong time, right? It depends upon what do you have to offer, right? International market or domestic market. Essentially, you're talking about someone who has the value of your products and services and who can pay for it, right? And if you feel that, okay, whatever you are building has the value for any international customer, go for it from the day zero itself, right?
Absolutely.
So there is never a right or wrong time. You should always look at for whom you are building those products and whether those are relevant for them or not, and just go for it.
Perfect answer. So last question, but this is from my side, this is not by any audience. 5 years from now, 5 years from now, where we do see the heart is going. So if you can share something about, a strategy that built up to create a bigger Dehaat what we have right now.
For us, that's what I say, that we look at decades. So even 5 years down the line, we'll be talking
Let me
about.
change the question then. Let me change the question then. 10 years
No,
from
it's okay.
now, where will you see Dehaat?
I was talking. So basically, we will be doing the same thing, right? Providing end-to-end solution to Indian farmers and maybe farmers in other countries as well, with the same kind of mindset, right? With the same sort of things that we do, almost similar sort of things that we do. The numbers will be bigger. Now, right now we are talking about 2 million farmers. We might be talking about 20 million farmers, right? So numbers might be just bigger, and with more value chain interventions that we are currently doing, right? With more integrated, bundled products and services that we are offering to all of our stakeholders. So I think the way that we are building our technology stack, the way that we are building our relationships and our network is essentially getting towards the same direction. And and we sincerely believe that, right, it's such a huge ocean and we are just scratching the surface, right? It's nothing that we are doing. So there is a lot to be done in agri ecosystem. There is a lot to be done related to the scope and scale that agri offers to us.
Shyam, now just on a lighter note, we have few rapid fire questions for you. This will actually assist the audience, in gaining a deeper understanding of you from various perspectives. So you can answer these rapid fire questions in just a one word also. So let's start.
Sure.
The very first question. One thing that inspired you to start Dehaat.
Supply chain complexity.
When it comes to your work routine, are you more of an early riser or a night owl?
Relatively early riser.
Fame or money?
Both.
If you could collaborate with any celebrity on a business venture, who would it be?
Pankaj Tripathi.
What's your favorite board game or a card game?
Chess.
If you could eliminate one task from your daily routine, what would it be?
Late lunch.
If you could magically solve one global issue, what would it be?
Access to water.
Perfect. If you could teleport to any city in the world right now, where would you go?
London.
Name one other company or a CEO who inspires you.
Elon Musk.
If you have to start Dehaat again, what would you differently?
I guess, okay, this is not something that they can answer in the rapid fire, but not much that we will do differently, but we will ensure there is a more farmer focus than we might have started, right, on the 3.0 itself. Yeah.
What is the most underrated quality in an entrepreneur, in your opinion?
Ability to act like a professional and not just as an entrepreneur.
What's the most unusual skill you have acquired while building your startup?
Everything. I had no idea about agri. I had no background about agri. So everything.
Okay. If you could have a dinner with any historical figure, who would it be?
Historical figure. Maybe, very difficult question. But any dinner with any historical figure, it might be just it might be someone from a very back history of something which is very ancient, right? So any large emperor or someone.
Top three mistakes.
Well, we could have we have learned. So one of the question was also that investing in technology we could have done early by ourselves. We have learned by making some of the mistakes there, right? So I think investment in technology might be just one thing that we could have. That's a mistake that it didn't impact us, but in a way it could have been corrected, right? I think the other mistake of that journey could be ensuring that we have wider access, right? In the early phases where we could have learned more about it. I think that was another thing. The third thing in this journey is essentially like what I was saying, that tapping various different sources of capital, right? So in a way, we didn't have that kind of exposure in that kind of market, but we could have also done more of it. We had done some, but we could have done more of it, tapping various sources of capital in the initial phase.
Perfect. One advice for budding entrepreneurs in the agri-tech sector?
Be patient. Be patient and always learn from mistakes. You will always get success. It's a sector which demands patience.
Perfect. Thank you, Shyam, for sharing your insights and being so candid in responding these rapid fire questions. Your responses have provided valuable insights into your perspective. Well, over to you, Shyam.
Thank you, Abhishek, for asking such a amazing rapid fire. I might listen it again, after this session and the recording. And be patient. So something that Shyam, that this sector is very tough, and it requires a lot of patience. But before I do a closing remark, Shyam, I would like to take a question from Q&A, which is by Sandeep Jaiswal, which we haven't talked about. He says that will ONDC revolutionize the agri-tech industry? If you can please take it.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you properly. Can you repeat
So
that?
in a quick minute, so there's a question by Sandeep that will ONDC revolutionize the agri-tech industry?
Oh, it might. And we are one of the first players, or no, we are the first player who have been onboarded as an agri-tech player on the ONDC, both as a seller and as a buyer. So there is a strong bet that government is placing on ONDC. We also see that it has the potential to unlock a lot of network related opportunities, right? So there is a lot to offer, but there are a lot of challenges also. We are very closely working with the ONDC team, and let's see how do they navigate through these challenges. But there is a definite positive sentiment towards that.
Amazing, amazing. So thank you, Shyam, for sharing this. And if this is a positive time, we cannot take all the questions in Q&A, and some people already have raised their hands. You can write down to us. We will try to take up it later, but for now, we have a limited time. So thank you for coming on the behalf of everyone present out here. I extend sincere appreciation to Mr. Shyam, saying for his enlightening discourse, and extend my sincere gratitude for your enlightening discourse during our session. Your insights into your journey as a founder, team building experiences, and contribution into such a complex India's agricultural landscape have been invaluable. We have gleaned practical strategies from your real-time experiences, enriching our understanding profoundly. Thank you for sharing your expertise and wisdom with us. Gratitude is also on extent to Mr. Abhishek to his adept moderation and enhancing the depth to our discussion. The meticulous effort by the SIDBI and KPMG team in organizing this session with daily NCR cluster intervention program are commendable and have enriched our collective understanding of Indian agri-tech landscape. To our engaged audience and the inquisitive startups who have posed pertinent questions, your contribution have added immense value to the exchange of ideas as we reflect on the insights shared today. Let's remain committed to fostering innovation and collaboration in our startup ecosystem. I'm Shyam Sundar, DGM at an Incubation Center, BIMTech, and on the behalf of all the organizers of this event, thank you all for participating and dedicating your valuable time today. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Abhishek. Thank you, Ankit, Neeraj, Shyam, sir. Thank you for this time.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Shyam.
Thank you, everyone.
Shyam.
Thank
And
you.
special thanks to SIDBI for organizing this webinar. And once again, thank you everyone who are a part of this webinar today. We look forward to see you again next month with another big name in the industry. Have a wonderful day. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for listening patiently.